Oh, we are live now. Okay, good. Right.
Tanya likes my dress.
Oh, very cool. I like your dress as well. It reminds me of Mandala.
Yeah. Nelson.
It doesn't remind me of Nelson Mandela. No.
That's what my dress is called.
Nelson. Mandala.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. For the first time in 2 weeks. Sorry I haven't been about, but as you may or may not know, things in my private life went a bit tips up. So took time out to sort myself out. Young Mr. Wayne is away on holiday at the moment. So is it me or do I look white as a bloody ghost? And you do?
Ghost. I am white.
Do you reckon it's because that lamp's on behind us? Or do you reckon it's too much brightness here?
Very much your front lip.
Bear with me. If I can get out from the chair. Bear with me.
You saw the pump out in the tank.
Not whilst I'm doing this, no.
Hiya.
Is that a bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of washed out now. Who there? Hi Andy, you alright, mate? How's it going? I'm going to come over and see you now we're out of lockdown, if that's all right. Because you only live down the road.
21st.
Completely out of lockdown, 21st. My birthday's on the 18th, so I'll come and see you.
Sheldon's birthday is the 21st, and Finley's 6-month birthday is the 21st.
And I've just realised something. My t-shirt.
Finley fied.
Finley, that's my baby grandson done that. It's like having a bird flying around, except it's got bigger nappies. So yes, all of those, thank you so much to all of you who have been sending me messages and telling me to keep my chin up and cheering me up and this, that and the other. I didn't realise I had as many friends as I do, and it's been spot on, so thank you. So, and this one and my other daughter have, hi Helen, have been keeping an eye on me and looking after me, and to be absolutely fair, I'm doing a heck of a lot.
My hair looks really nice today.
So does mine. I've been doing a hell of a lot better than I thought I was going to. Look at this, look.
Ooh.
Nah. I prefer the Kojak look. For those of you who are old enough to remember Kojak.
Horseman.
No. Who loves you, baby? So you won't know. Sheldon does.
Oh, he doesn't.
And your dad.
Sheldon's never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
He's never seen it. No prospective son-in-law of mine is going to get away with that. He's never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That is my favourite. Yeah, where's your lolly? So she knows.
Well, yeah. Considerable difference in age. Considerable difference in age between me and you, Dad.
Kojak was on the TV, Telly Savalas, bald guy, and he always sucked a lollipop.
Nice. When?
He was a copper.
When?
80s, I think.
80s?
70s, 80s.
80s? When was I born?
You know about the 18s, shut your face. Right. What else are they doing? Yes, no prospective son-in-law of mine is going to be a member of this family without knowing what the Rocky Horror Picture Show is. So Sheldon, if you're watching.
How many times have I seen that?
Probably about the same amount of times as I have. I love it.
Because of Granddad.
Rocky! Helen, oh my God.
I'm not saying you're old, but I will say that Dad's first currency was rocks. So...
Actually, the year I was born was the year decimalization took over, and we went to normal currency that you know now.
Yeah, That doesn't make you sound
1972, not 1672, as you keep insisting on telling people.
When I was born, currency was made. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. I'm so old. I remember when the first penny was bought in.
Such a dickhead. And yeah, this is my daughter, and you can just see the fucking love, can't you? You're older than me. Bloody hell, I didn't know that. I thought you were younger than me because I'm 40. I'll be 49 in 2 weeks. I'm just waiting for 20 years' time when I'm 69, because I'll tell you what, I'm going to be a bastard on my birthday.
And Finley will be 20.
I expect a 69, not from you, on my birthday. On my 69th birthday.
I don't want to know.
No, I mean a big 6'9", so I can put it up on the wall.
Oh, okay.
What do you think I meant? Oh, you think what?
You said you want a 69, not from you. You want to talk about.
Well, no, it'd be a bit weird if you got me 69.
About balloons, but...
Do you want me to give you that arm?
No.
Well, put that down.
I can't. I'm in the middle of a battle.
Put your
Just keep
Wii.
talking. It's not a Wii, it's a Switch.
So anyway, yes, young
You want to
Wayne.
tell them about your diet?
Oh yeah. As you know, I've gone back to the gym, and it's working.
Who's Jim?
Big Jim Beef. And also trying keto diet again. So we will see what that's like combined with the gym. So because I've noticed a slight improvement since doing the gym. So we'll see what that's like done with the keto, isn't it? She's gone onto the keto diet as well.
Get rid of my mum tum.
I've got to get rid of my dad.
Drab. Flab. Dad flab.
Dad flab. I've got to get rid of my dad flab. So anyway, yes, and apart from that, I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought I was going to be. I'm actually quite chipper and looking forward to seeing what the future brings. Why not? So tonight, I thought we'll do what we'll do it.
I know one thing the future will bring. Your 69th birthday.
There's a picture I put up on my Facebook a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and it was just the expression on the guy's face is what cracks me up. And I can't do it justice, but he goes,
"Oh, I'll get a photo. I'll get it." And
it just yeah. So tonight's show we're going to do it in the vein as we do the Sunday show with a list. But I'm also going to, whilst I've got you here, I'm live on air on one of my paranormal disclosure places I go on.
Oh, hello, police. What are they doing here? They saw us going. They were like, what?
Can you imagine that? There, look at his face. Just look at his face. That. I will put it up again on my Facebook wall after I've done the show, and then you'll see exactly why I was laughing so much about that. And every time I see it, I just giggle.
Ooh, have they gone to the house in the end? Have they gone to the house in the end?
Just bear with me 1 second, everybody. I've got to be nosy for my daughter. The police. Where are the police? They've gone past. I think they're just doing a nightly round, possibly.
Okay. Well, there was that woman that she got raped in the field.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
When Becky was here.
Oh, when they had that party. Those people having a party. Yeah.
Because Becky wasn't the only one that was in about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, normally, as you know, Wayne and I will chat crap about everything, and can I get that round a bit more? There you go. We'll chew crap. We'll chew the fat about everything, and talk about normal stuff.
Nutty.
It's a bit nutty, so thought I'd, whilst you're here, just see what's the latest. We are getting closer and closer and closer to the US doing their alleged full disclosure paper. You just know it's going to be a piece of paper like that with a date, possibly, and maybe half of the time and place redacted, and then almost all of it redacted, apart from words of it, that, and possibly a cat. So you just know they're going to find loads of ways around it. But I do think that there's something going to happen because of the way all these things are suddenly being let slip and suddenly being released, and governments are suddenly saying, "Oh yeah, this is real." So keep your eyes out in the future, because my ticker here is saying there's something more going on than we're being told, and we'll see it soon. So we'll see what happens. Do you?
Please. I'm just kidding.
Every breath you take, they'll be watching you. It's called stalking. So let's have a look.
It's a dead fish. Oh, it's just a baby.
So let's have a look to see what the latest of the stuff that's in the paranormal world is. If there's anything interesting or anything I can actually
Dad.
read out.
Hippies be like.
I can actually read out. Let's have a look. There's more stuff coming out about Atlantis, Numeria, and Sumeria, Maldek and Mars. For those who don't know, you must know about Atlantis, but Lemuria was the continent that went under the water, wasn't it? So more stuff's been allegedly found about that.
It's not what it was called.
Lemuria, yes, it was.
No, it's not. Atlantis, I'm pretty sure you're talking about.
No, I've already mentioned Atlantis.
Well,
Lemuria is a separate continent that was at the bottom of Europe. I don't know. Put the damn thing down.
Watch my move. Watch. You missed it.
You just squirted a load of water at him.
How?
From it looked like from somewhere else.
It's called Sniper, and he goes like this.
So
dead.
Just bear with me. Right now, topics, no categories. Right, hang on. Just. Interesting times ahead. I think personally, I don't know if you agree, but Wayne and I have spoken about it at length a number of times, but I think the governments everything has got to such a point that there's been so many leaks, so many insiders, so many sightings, and this, that, and the other. The world has come to the point where they can't take any more bullshit from the governments going, oh no, we don't know oh no, can't possibly be this. And it's got to the point where the governments know they can't carry on down that line of lying. So they know they've got to come out and say, yeah, okay. So
right, watch.
Okay, yes.
Almost
okay,
there.
Right. Put it down.
I know this is a boss battle. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm still listening. I'm still talking. I'm still interacting.
Oh, whilst I remember, the Chinese have invented ion engines, and they're going to use them for their space station that they're putting up there. And I think I put it on the Dark Mirror Show's wall about TIE fighters are next or something like that. Yeah, they've invented ion engines, and I don't mean iron.
TIE fighters.
Yeah, well, it stands for twin ion engine, and the Chinese have invented ion engines. So the Chinese could be realistically.
They might be making a Death Star.
Please, I'm back again. Anyway, so yes. So anyway, the Chinese are going to the dark side. Apparently, with their ion engines, which I think will be very interesting because it means that they can do a year, keep stop touching my bum. They can keep their space station up in air, up in orbit on, I think it's something like a 20th of the fuel that a normal space station uses, because that uses liquid fuel. So the more I hear about that,
the Matrix theory, could this be a factor regarding UFO?
I think it's
theory, not therapy.
No, it definitely doesn't say therapy. I think it's interesting, but the thing that I've noticed over the last couple of months is since the American governments and that have started to say, yeah, well, this is real, that's real, yeah, we're going to come out with this, that, and the other. All UFO sightings are now saying they're coming out of the sea or they're going into the sea, whereas you only had the one before. Now, since they've come out and said, yes, we're going to say this, we're going to say that, there's all these videos appearing on YouTube and all, on national press and this, that, and the other of UFOs in the water or coming out of the water. There was one I was looking at last night, actually, and it was just off the coast of Miami, and there's a bright green light underneath the water just out from a cruise ship, and people were zoomed in on it, and again, underneath the water. So I'm wondering if the governments, instead of saying, yeah, they come from other planets, it's going to be, oh, we found a new species that live under the sea, and they've got cities and this, that, and the other. And we didn't want to tell you people because you didn't, you wouldn't believe us. Instead of just saying, yeah, they're from there, and some of them live under the sea. But we'll see what.
I tickled myself.
We'll see what happens, but there's not a lot today.
She's named after my birth.
Of everything that comes out, everything that's been coming out about UFOs. It's just all about Elon Musk. A few other things. You know, it's pretty boring, to be honest. So let's. One thing I will say, like in the last few days, there have been a lot of sightings of things on the moon's surface flying, and there's been quite a few sightings of things on the surface of Mars with energy plumes behind them. So there's been some good calls, good catches found on there. So.
Fosters.
Oh yeah, there's some good calls found on there.
Fosters.
That's a beer.
Good call.
Do you see why I only do one show a week with her? This is two. That I'll be doing today and Sunday. Anyway, right. Let's crack on with it. See, I don't know. I think other dimensions would be a lot easier to manage if somebody's managed to somewhere in a different dimension or possibly over here, and they've invented something that could possibly slide you in from a dimension. If you've ever read Terry Pratchett's The Long Earth, that explains it all brilliantly. But yeah, it's a lot. It makes a lot more sense for somebody to flick a button and go, and they're in a parallel dimension than it is for somebody to be 100 million light years away and then go, do you know what? We're going to go and see these persons on that other planet, the other side of the galaxy. That's them talking out of the tentacle on top of their head, you see.
Oh, okay.
Not my hair.
Oh.
Right. So, yeah.
Really nice toupee, just for like a front fringe.
Yeah, and I'm French, so I shake it out of my head, out of my eyes. No. Monsieur, with these Ferrero Rocher, you are really spoiling us. So, anyway, it does make a lot more sense to come in from different dimensions. I don't know about time slips.
Cool. I could wear. I thought you said slippers. I was going to say I could wear some of them.
Time slippers. Do you see what I have to put up with? Time slips. We've done a show on time slips in the past, especially the House of Versailles incident. That was quite an infamous one. I don't think these sightings of crafts are time slips. There could be, as you say, another dimensions, or there could be vortexes, because on some of the videos, the way they sort of appear and then just disappear, it's as if they've just gone into a different dimension, you know. But there's been, and there has been a lot of sightings the last few weeks of pyramid-shaped UFOs, not the normal triangles, but proper pyramid ones, which is interesting. The Philadelphia experiment, yeah, that's.
I had some this morning.
On toast.
Celery.
On celery.
I'm on a diet.
It's on mine.
I have toast.
I didn't have toast.
Me neither.
And this is Diet Coke,
which we looked up.
You're allowed to have on the keto diet.
Because I checked the sweetener that they use, and that's fine.
The Philadelphia experiment, again, we did a show on that. Very, very interesting. But they don't show you half the stuff in the film. Especially when you read the unredacted reports and stuff. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, tonight, so because it's slightly different, we're going to do another top 10 like we normally do on Sundays. Do you know what? When I read your comment of the Philadelphia experiment, I only saw it out of corner of my eye, Andy, and I thought that said the paedophilia experiment.
Same.
You thought that as well. That's why I had to look at it twice, and I'm like,
if you watch this back. When the message comes through, I go.
I looked at it twice because I was like, yeah, the Philadelphia experiment. Yes, I'm going to have to come down and have a cup of tea with you, Andy, because you're only 20 minutes down the road from here, if that's all right.
Is he in Hull?
No, I'm not going to read his location out.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's at a location where I used to work.
Yeah. Hull.
Thank you, mate. I'll talk to you after the show. Hull. Yes, that's right. He's in Hull.
I like your cut.
Oh, I like your cut, G.
Ow, you double tap.
Yes, you do, in case you missed with the first one. Did everybody hear that? You've upset the dogs now. I hope you're happy. Right.
Knife hands.
What are you trying to say?
It's in JoJo.
Knife hands, like a fucking sniper hand. Right. So, yes. For tonight, we thought we'd do purely because of this young lady and young Finley. Do you need a poo or something?
I got angry.
You look like an impacted bullock. Right. We thought we'd do.
You look like an impacted bollock.
And thought we'd do paranormal investigations and encounters in Africa because of this young lady's other half and his family, and of course Finley's grandparents, other grandparents, and his dad.
Like this. Watch. No, just watch.
Right.
Watch this. No, watch.
Right, you done?
That's my Pokemon.
Can you? All right. So, top 10 list of paranormal investigations and encounters in Africa. And a lot of these you probably remember from one of our shows about we went all around Africa doing all the different stuff. So, yeah, for those of you who may remember it, just grin and enjoy.
Smile and wave.
So,
smile and wave.
Number 10, we are going to do the.
So you're gonna hurt me. The Mokili Mbembe.
Mokele Mbembe.
Don't do it with an accent.
Mokele Mbembe. By 1912, one of the world's foremost naturalists was convinced that there was a prehistoric creature living in the depths of Africa. And I will say that's not the first time there have been reports of weird dinosaur things in darkest bits of Africa. There's been quite a few places that have said that. Anyway, so this naturalist Carl Hagenbeck was an early pioneer in zoology and the humane treatment of animals. He wrote of identical stories from Rhodesia that told of a half-dragon, half-elephant creature that lived in remote swamps there. That sounds a bit like a brontosaurus or something. Supposedly, ancient cave paintings depicted the creature, but Hagenbeck's expedition met with disaster and returned with no new information. The following year, Germany dispatched Captain Freiherr von Stein zu Lausnitz. I'm not saying that again.
What was it?
Captain Freiherr von Stein zu Lausnitz.
You said it again.
To explore the swampy jungle of West Africa and the Cameroons. The goal was a purely scientific one. The so-called Likwala Congo expedition was to map the region, collect botanical specimens, and record any new animal life that they discovered. The expedition was called off with the opening shots of World War One. If the opening shots of World War One were in Africa, they missed by a margin. Their reports fell into obscurity until they were published by naturalist Willie Lee. Actually, it's Willie Lay, isn't it? What a name! I am naturalist Willie Lay. That's right, Lay. Willie. According to Lay, the Germans had discovered what Hagenbeck had been championing, a prehistoric-looking creature. Von Stein zu Lausnitz, von Stein, called it the Mokele Mbembe. He said that the creature lived in the unnavigable areas of the Sanga River, which, for those of you who know Africa, is between the Picunda and the Mbeo rivers. And there were rumours of it in the Sombo River. That's Sombo, isn't it? It's two S's.
Probably.
Sombo River too. The natives told them that the creature was about the size of an elephant with a long alligator-like tail and a neck that was reminiscent of the brontosaurus. Pardon you. And a long horn or tooth protruding from its head. The herbivorous creature preferred to eat a white-blossomed liana and was known to...
Herbivorous. Because it's a herbivore.
Yeah, herbivorous.
Not a herbivore.
I think of the beat car, and was known to attack boats that entered its territory. Von Stein zu Lausnitz also claimed that the natives showed him a path through the jungle that was made by the creature as it wandered along the Sosombo River. So that was, I'm going to try and say it again, the Mokele Mbembe.
You just said that was.
Can you say? In an accent.
Mokele Mumbi.
In an accent, Mokele Mbembe.
I'm not doing an accent.
Yeah. Right, you can do this one in at number 9.
The Ninki Nanka.
Ninki Nanka. Yeah, put your bloody game down.
Yeah. Richard Freeman. Oh, do you actually know why they have names like that? Like
Who?
some people have the last name Smith and some people have the last name Freeman.
Yeah, like Fletcher and Cooper. Fletcher made arrows, Cooper made barrels.
Yeah.
How the hell did I get Manly? What was that? My early 16th century ancestors were just stood there for long times of the day, flexing in the mirror, going until they got a headache or shit themselves. Carry on.
Like, goddamn, look at me.
Oh, so mad.
Richard Freeman is one of the most recent explorers to head into Africa in search of one of the continent's most elusive creatures. According to legend, the Ninki Nanka is a
I love the way
massive...
she says it slowly. The Ninki Nanka in other news.
Because I always say Ninki.
Ninki Nanka.
Ninki Nanka. That sounds like wanker. Is a massive crocodile-like reptile. Some of the wildest accounts claim that it can spit fire. However, most people agree that it has a horse-like head, ridges, and sometimes wings, and shiny reflective scales. That's a
Nessie.
Pokemon.
That's Nessie.
That's a Pokemon.
It's also Nessie. Most
a horse
aquatic
head,
lake monsters
with
are
a
described
horse
as that.
head.
Yeah.
Freeman's team
It's a horse head.
interviewed-
Not horse head, it's a horse head.
No, that says horse.
It's mouse like that. All the
That's what
time.
I said. Horse.
Mm.
Oh. Freeman's team interviewed one man who had supposedly seen the creature. He testified that it was around 45 meters, 165 foot tall,
Long.
long. After he watched the creature for almost an hour, he took deathly ill. He claimed that
That a potion.
from an Islamic holy man had saved him. According to those who believed.
Put your game down.
According to those who believe in Ninkinanka, this is a little...
There is a little documentation of the creature.
Because those who see it die soon afterwards.
So that's why there's little documentation of it, because people don't get the chance to write it, because they go, oh, there's a nick.
Or little people see them, and then they're like, little. One witness claimed that the Ninkinanka had stampeded through a pumping station and destroyed equipment before they were able to chase it off by showing the creature its reflection in a mirror. One man saw the creature again, and it was dead 2 weeks later. Freeman, a former zookeeper, is convinced that there's a rational explanation for these zoological sightings. After all, he suggests that the Loch Ness monster is really a set of sterile eels that are known to grow to massive sizes.
That bollocks is the Loch Ness monster, a fucking eel.
Leave
Sorry.
Nessie alone.
No, Nessie is not
Leave
an eel.
Nessie alone. As for the Ninkinanka, he suspects that it might be a form of undocumented monitor lizard. I thought that when I first read it. Unfortunately, the major piece of evidence with which he has presented pieces of the creature's scales turned out to be nothing more than rotted pieces of film.
Do you know what this Ninkinanka sounds like to me? It sounds like either, and I have no idea how this would happen, but it sounds like either a hybrid hippo alligator or it's some new genus of alligator.
I thought it sounded like a monitor lizard because they used to say that monitor lizards breathe fire.
Well, there's those of you out there who know there's things called megafauna. And oh bloody hell! Hi Ellen, hi Wayne. You're right. Hope you're enjoying Blackpool. Megafauna. The last
because of your attempt at German, the subtitles changed to German.
So as I was saying, yeah.
No, stop it. At least it didn't change to Afrikaans or something, because then we'd all be buggered. Because of your Because of your really bad African accent.
Yeah. Yes, there's things called there were things called megafauna. And the place that
Also California.
the place
Californication.
the place sometimes my lips get stuck in my teeth. The place that had the last known bits of megafauna was Australia, and there were reports of a type of lizard like the monitor lizard that was supposedly up to 28-30 feet long, but they were supposed to have died out. But since the 70s, people who've gone way out back, because they're building more and more railroads and stuff going through the railroads and stuff.
They're building more railroads.
Go fuck yourself. They're building
railroads. The little children going woo woo.
They're building more and more railroads and things, and those long roads where only,
cool railroads.
where only the
trains
land trains go. Will you shut up?
Railroad.
I'm going to flick you in the bollocks in a minute.
Unhand my penis.
I love that video. It's funny as hell. Yeah, and since the 70s, there have been reports of these megafauna lizards and creatures seen more and more and more in the Australian outback. Same as the yowie, Australia's form of version of Bigfoot. Been more and more.
No.
Do you want to hear Wicket the Ewok? There you go.
I think something's eating my elephant here.
So, anyway, let's read another one out for you. Well, I hope you like that, the Ninky Nanka. I still think the Ninky Nanka is, I think, more than likely to be a some sort of genus of the crocodile family. So,
that's your new hat.
The aerial event. Now, I am going to shove that up your backside in a minute and get it out of my face. Oh! Have you had your Ritalin?
Nope.
Right.
I've had no sugar.
You can read this one out if you want. Or
I read it.
You read the last one, all right.
Yeah.
The aerial event. So, when Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack talked to the witnesses of an extraterrestrial encounter in 1994, he concluded that they were telling the truth. I am going to make you wear that in a minute.
I didn't do it.
Concluded that they were telling the truth. On September the 16th, 1994, approximately 60 children between 5 and 12 years old were playing outside their school on the outskirts of the capital of Zimbabwe when they saw a large spaceship and several smaller craft gliding over the scrubland. I've seen the reports of this. It makes for interesting reading. The spacecraft landed beside their playground, and the children claimed that they were approached by beings from the ships who had sweaty palms, slightly glazed expression,
and their names were Calvin,
and asked if they wanted some candy. Were approached from the beings of the ship, and that the whole encounter lasted about 15 minutes. With all the adults in the meeting inside the school, it wasn't until the kids returned to class that the adults realised that something had happened. The day continued normally, but it wasn't long before the parents of the children, who wouldn't stop talking about aliens, started making phone calls. In the days after the encounter, the kids were interviewed by Mac and Tim Leach, the BBC bureau chief for Zimbabwe. All the children told similar stories and drew similar pictures of what they'd seen. I've actually seen the documentary. When filmmakers tracked some of them down in 2014, they stuck to the stories. It was also clear that their lives had been affected by the experience. And when they did find them, and they were in this documentary, they still drew the same cigar-shaped stuff. At the time, one little girl, only known as Elsa, said, Elsa?
Aww.
Elsa? Was she?
Was her sister called Anna?
Did she sing,
Olaf?
Get all.
Let it go.
Oh. Said, I got the feeling he was interested in all of us. He looked sad and without love. In space there is no love, and down here there is. And that came from out the mouths of babes, really. She also said that the feeling of hopelessness persisted. Like all
A
the
child said this.
right. When they interviewed the kids, well, at the time,
Oh,
one of the
yeah,
little girls, Elsa, said, "I got the feeling he was interested in all of us. He looks sad and without love. In space, there is no love, and down here there is." Makes sense to when you think about it in like a childlike logic. Makes sense.
Sad though.
Yeah. She also said that the feeling of hopelessness persisted. Like all the trees will go down and there'll be no air. People will be dying. These thoughts came from the man's eyes. Whoa, that's telepathy. That's telepathy.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense.
They were talking to the kids through telepathy. Wow. 10-year-old Isabel said much the same in her interview. We were trying not to look at him because he was scary.
That's suspicious.
My eyes and feelings went with him. We are doing harm to the earth.
I mean, I say that all the time. So.
No, we are. It's about time the bloody governments, instead of like trying to line their pockets, tried to save the earth for people in the future, you know. All the children described the man as small, with long black hair and huge eyes. Calvin? Has he been smoking something? They said that he didn't see the kids at first. When he did notice them, he headed back to his spacecraft and left. This event occurred at the end of a series of UFO sightings in the area. Just what the children saw is still debated, but a planned documentary, which has already been on TV, will put all the evidence together and let the viewers decide for themselves. So, what do you guys make of that? Yeah, ignore that. I'm sure Wayne and I did a show about that one as well. And another one that happened in Rhodesia in the 60s. That was a UFO flew over a church and hovered, and it had like the dome was clear. And the people down at the church all came out and stood there looking and waving up at the people inside the spaceship. And they were described as Nordic aliens. I said Nordic, not Yorkshire for Nordic.
No.
So, do you want
to... It got very dark in it. Do you want to switch the light on?
Shall I put the lamp on? I'll just put the lamp on. Oh. There you go. Would you like to read about the Marosi?
Oh, it's way past my bedtime. Yeah. Reportedly, the Marosi, or solitary lion, is a large spotted cat that has been seen through East and Central Africa. According to witnesses, this creature is smaller than a typical lion. Although it resembles its more well-known cousins, the Marosi has a coat that's covered in grey-brown spots across its back and sides, like a cheetah or a leopard, not a lion. Skins have been preserved by hunters who have come across this strange cat. In 1924...
Blaney Percival.
Why does it say A? Oh, it's his first name. A?
No, just saying A, like as in Blaney Percival.
Oh, okay, that was his name. Supposedly shot a spotted lioness and her cubs.
Why do people do that?
In the 1930s, Michael Trent shot and killed a pair of spotted lions that were responsible for raids on his cattle farm. The sightings through Kenya in 1931. After sightings through Kenya in 1931, Kenneth Gandar Downer mounted an expedition.
Kenneth Gandalf Dower.
Gandar Dower mounted an expedition a few years later to go into the mountains of Kenya and find the beast once and for all. He hoped to find a subspecies of lion that had adapted its size and color to surviving in the mountains, a habitat completely unlike that of... What was that?
I have no idea.
More traditional lions. However, he only finds some footprints that could not be correctly linked to any known species. Nevertheless, yeah, I know you just shit yourself. Nevertheless, he published a book devoted to the spotted lion. When that hit the British press and the public, more people, mostly big game hunters, came forward about their encounters with the elusive Morosi. I just want to say I've got really blocked nose and you've just shit next to me, and all I can do to breathe is...
It didn't smell. You're fine.
No, it doesn't. The case remains open. Some people claim that the spotted lion is completely mythical. Others believe that a small group of lions may have headed into the mountains.
Melted all the hair on it.
So fresh. You know you wax that so you could slip a finger. So fresh hunting and breeding grounds. For fresh hunting and breeding grounds. And eventually developed into a small, agile, spotted subspecies.
One thing I do about...
Toes.
Shoes with toes. One thing I do know about this is the Romans, when they used to get their big cats for the Colosseums, they used to be lions, not just in Africa. There used to be loads all over the place, but there was a subspecies of lion that was spotted, smaller, and had a different colour mane, and they used to use them. I can't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up, but there did used to be this Morosi or whatever it was called back then. I don't think the Romans called it that, but maybe it's a remnant of that and they didn't die out. What do you mean?
Don't see why not.
It could be.
Well, we have spotted leopards.
Well,
What am I talking about? The black ones, but they're spotted.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at them closely, they're spotty, but you can't tell.
Yeah.
Like teenagers.
You only need to look closely to tell a teenager's got spotted.
It depends how much makeup.
No, trust me. Any of you girls out there that used to go to school with me, mainly Shannon, we could all see your spots through the foundation. It was really bad. Crusty.
Did you get on with this, Shannon?
No, I'll tell her that.
So.
Oh no, I made her cry, didn't I? Only with words. Words hurt.
So, Congamato. Big, bloody, great big pterosaur. Explorer Frank Melland headed to South Central Africa to spend some time living along the Kaonde.
Ew.
Descended from the Yorkshire people in the 1920s. While he was there, they told him a creature called the Congamato, which translates as overwhelmer of boats. Melland dedicated an entire section of his book to the creature because it was important in the Kaonde culture. He noticed that the Kaonde had charms to protect them from the Congamato, a lizard-like bat-winged creature that attacked boats and caused the waters to rise. Their belief was so powerful that those setting out on the river carried a paste made from the roots of the Mulendi tree, whose powers could be called upon to drive away an attacking Congamato. I think it was a pterosaur, like a pterodactyl or something, some sort. Because remember, in parts of Africa, there's lots of reports of dinosaurs, and still to this day, it's supposed to be in lots of the places that we haven't explored. Yes, we haven't explored yet. There's still sightings of dinosaurs and weird and wonderful things. So why not? And whatever is in the paste, it must have been a natural deterrent for this bloody great big winged birdie thing. According to Melland, the area had been known for telling tales about a brontosaurus-like creature, which we spoke about earlier, that he largely discounted as lore or fable. But the idea of the Congamato seemed to be something different. The native people described it as a reddish creature with no feathers and a wingspan of 1 to 2 meters or 4 to 7 feet. So that wasn't particularly big. Pterosaur or thunderbird. What does it do? The noise? No, not even the dog's bothered about that. When Melland showed the witnesses a drawing of a pterodactyl, they confirmed that this was the Congamato. It was blamed for the deaths of four people in 1911. Even though Melland suspected that those deaths were caused by severe flooding in the area, the Kaonde fear was real. Melland tried to get someone to take him to see a Congamato, but no amount of bribery worked. He wrote, "The natives do not consider it to be an unnatural thing, like a mulumbe, only an awful thing like a man-eating lion or rogue elephant, but infinitely worse. Well, if it was pterodactyl, it could pick small creatures up and carry them away. What was that terrible film they made in the late 70s, early 80s about a terror? Q, the winged serpent. It's supposed to be a horror. If you got the time, look it up. Q, the winged serpent. Yeah. So, in its number 5, would you like to read this one?
Nope. Nope.
The Umdlebi tree.
Okay.
No, you can do it. The Umdlebi tree.
Right.
So, cryptobiography.
Cryptobiology. I got that one right before you.
Cryptobiology
A weird sister science to cryptozoology
is cryptobiology.
Is the search for undocumented plants. Oh, okay. I like this one.
Thought you might.
Like the half plant, half sheep.
Oh, vegetable lamb of Tartary. Yeah, that's a myth, a legend from days of yore.
Most of these plants are strange.
Well, if it's a half plant and a half sheep, the vegetable lamb of Tartary.
When missionary.
Isn't it?
That's why I had a pause. Reverend.
Missionary Reverend Henry Callaway.
Look for choir boys. Published the religious system of the Amazulu in 1870. He told the story of the umbrella.
The Umdlebi.
A tree so deadly that skeletons littered the ground around it. Any bird that landed in the tree died, and it was also said to have a strange cry that sounded a bit like a sheep.
Sure.
Finley loves him.
I know. I have to sit down and watch it with him sometimes.
Callaway had seen people who had died because of the influence of the tree. In fact, the tree was so powerful that it could kill an entire village. Those stricken by the tree's poisons were gripped by a fever, unable to sit or lie down, and reduced to simple pacing back and forth. It was a vicious disease that doctors did know how to cure. I think that's supposed to be didn't. A group of men from the missionaries' village went hunting. That's a boring village. And wandered into the territory of the
Umdlebi.
Unfamiliar with the tree's appearance, the hunters used wood from the tree to cook a buffalo they had killed. By the time the meat was cooked, they were too sick to eat, gripped by headaches, aching bones, swollen stomach, and other sorts of intestinal distresses. When the doctor reached them, they had already been dead after wasting away to nothingness, nothing more than bones and swollen stomachs. Nasty. It sounds like it's like a hallucinogen.
Well, it just sounds like it's fucking poisonous stuff that if ingested, well, that's it, you're dead. Very nasty poison. Swelling up of the or your
maybe it's a pollen that the tree releases.
Well, it'd be in the roots as well because it says it wiped out whole villages.
Yeah, but also if you went near it, so it might be like pollen. Look how cool that. Look at that male guppy up there. Look how cool.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
According to Parker, only a few people. Wait, no. In 1882, G.W. Parker submitted a species profile on to Nature magazine that described 2 species of
Umdlebi
tree. One species had large, dark green leaves, a flaky bark, while the other was more like a shrub. Anyone even approaching the tree would suffer from bloodshot eyes and headaches that would turn into deadly delirium.
That'd be why they were pacing backwards and forwards.
Yeah. According to Parker, only a few people were capable of gathering the fruits of the tree.
An
anecdote supported by Callaway's reports of doctors who used the fruits to prepare an antidote to the tree's poison.
I found that quite interesting, actually. What was it called? The Umdlebi tree.
Do you want to spell it for everyone so they can Google it?
It is spelled Umdlebe. I probably pronounce it fucking terribly.
Tree.
So, for any of you who are still with us, or not, I think they've all nodded off and buggered off.
I'm on standby mode at the moment. I'm so gone. I'm so tired.
That's Nine Tails Buddy Horn.
What
What time is it? Well, it's almost time to finish, so we'll just do a couple more. So let me do the Kulakamba. I like that name. Kulakamba.
Yeah?
The Kulakamba.
Not naming my kid now.
Kulakamba. French explorer Paul de... Hello, my name is Paul Chalou. Was the first person to interact with the pygmies and the first to see a gorilla, an animal that was previously thought to be more myth than reality. When he wrote up his observations on Africa's primates, he described 4 distinct creatures: the gorilla, the chimpanzee, the Njego Mbuvi, and the Kulakamba, which was named for its... If I can't say it, if I don't. I literally can't say it if I do. If I try, Njego Mbuvi. No.
And Shigo.
And Kulakamba, which was named for its distinctive cry. According to the Chalou, the Frenchman, the Kulakamba was characterized by a large, prominent brow ridge.
I have some more. Nah, that's Charlotte.
A large, prominent brow ridge, small muzzle, large ears, and a larger skull than the standard chimp. He also noted that the Kulakamba was a short, stocky.
Bit like you.
It's Mark. Was short and stocky in the pelvic region, as well as upper and lower teeth.
You would know. Feel like a racehorse, that one.
Upper and lower teeth that met squarely. The animal was familiar to people throughout the area of modern-day Gabon and Cameroon. One explanation for the animal's widespread territory is simply that the features described by Duchalou are well within the normal variations of the chimp species. Do you know there is one form of chimp species that bonk for the hell of it because they enjoy it?
Is it baboon?
No. It does begin with B, though. You know what it is?
No.
Bonobo.
Bonobo.
The bonobo chimp.
Bonobo.
Bonobo. And they literally they do all the episodes in the Kama Sutra and weird shit, and you got one of them down the bottom of the bed going, just put your leg up there, yeah, now lick your fingers. It's just disgusting.
Dolphins do as well, don't they?
Yes, dolphins have sex because they enjoy it, and bonobo chimps have sex because they enjoy it.
Good on them.
One possible explanation...
Little dolphins go...
That's when I get the wrong hole. Of the Kulakamba is that the oddly shaped primate was a hybrid between a gorilla and a chimp. I nearly said sheep. There have been a few documented cases of hybrid offspring between the two. We still don't have the answer to this mystery. Some photos, including recent ones from Yaoundé Zoo in Cameroon and older ones from Barnum and Bailey and the Dresden Zoological Society, appear to show a creature that's not quite a chimp and not quite a gorilla. So it's a mixture. It's a chirilla. It's a chinchilla. Cholula. There you go. What time is it? We've probably got time for this one. Do you want to read this one? Emilia Untuka. Emilia Untuka or Emilia Untuka? Bloody weird looking thing, isn't it?
Like a lizard rhino.
It.
That was a very good description of it, I think.
Yeah, a lizard rhino. It's close. That's close enough. It's like a rhino with a ridge of spines going down its back and tail. It's got a long tail going down its back and tail. And it's got one huge horn, but the head looks like a monitor lizard. Anyway, the Emilia Untuka is so obscure that it's alternately described as a hoofed mammal and a reptile.
A hoofman.
No, that's your in-laws.
A hoofman.
But one thing remains the same. It has a bad temper, and this is related to you, and a single horn that allows it to kill elephants and other large creatures with a single blow. That's not very nice. The Emilia Untuka is as big as an elephant. It has a frilled neck and a build reminiscent of a crocodile. The first reports of the Emilia Untuka are dated around 1913. Explorer Hans Schomburg collected stories of the creature from the Clayo tribe in Liberia. They told them about a small rhinoceros that lived deep in the rainforest. Although it was a strict herbivore, it killed whatever crossed its path, so it was a really pissed off vegan. In the 1950s, there were other close encounters with the creature. A French official working in the Republic of the Congo, that's where your granddad was in the 60s, he was fighting in the
You
Congo.
know what they drink down there?
Umbongo. They drink it in the Congo. Collected more reports of the dangerous creature, including sketches of the animal and its footprints. Around the same time, Lucien Blanco, the chief game inspector of a
Lucien.
the dog Blanco,
Shen's cat.
the Sha.
Oh, I'm thinking of German. I was thinking und.
The chief game inspector of French Equatorial Africa documented claims that the Kelly were terrified of a creature that they had seen disemboweling an elephant. However, the Kelly said that encounters with the creatures were on the decline and that at least one Emelantuku had been killed a few decades earlier. When Roy McCall headed out to the Congo in 1981 to search for the Mokele Mbembe, he found more reports of the Amila Untuku, and he believed that the creature might be a prehistoric survivor, a ceratopsian dinosaur, which was an idea that creationists, don't even get me started about creationists. Just no.
What are creationists?
People that say the Earth's only a few thousand years old and we started at the beginning when the Bible says.
Why would they say that?
Because it's religious.
But what does it mean?
Creationists. In the beginning, there was light.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make you talk about it. I know what a creationist
They just
is.
want
11 days in it.
It's like the flat earthers. Don't you just know
You have this fact.
what on the back of 4 elephants going around on the back of the giant star turtle Greta Thunberg?
Yes.
If
There
you-
were 5 elephants there.
And one, yes, and I've read The Fifth Elephant. There is a book, The Fifth Elephant. It's actually really good.
Funny.
No, it is really good.
No, I like David Hasselhoff.
Anyway, creationists at Genesis Park, an organization devoted to proving that dinosaurs and man coexisted. See, creationists think that happened because of the Bible, but there are more and more things coming to light over the last 10 years that say this isn't the first time humans have been here. We had precursors, but on one of our iterations of precursors, we had technology that's greater than we've got now, but we lived in harmony with dinosaurs. And there's more and more things being found that are millions of years old that could only have been made by refining processes and stuff like that. So they might be onto something. But it's not creationists. The Earth isn't a few thousand years old.
Also, I don't believe for a second that humans were around when dinosaurs were around. Because we evolved from dinosaurs.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yes, we did.
No.
Yes, we did.
No. Monkeys.
Right. And what were monkeys before they were monkeys?
Cheeky monkeys.
Monkeys.
When they started asking questions about the Amila Untuka, they found an answer to one of the things that was giving their theory a problem. Ceratopsian dinosaurs had thrills. They liked roller coasters. Early reports of the Amila Untuka didn't involve a thrill. But when Genesis Park started talking to the African natives, there were stories of the creatures having frills around their necks. And interviewees pointed out that the illustrations of a Triceratops and Macau's Amila Untuka were the same animal, a Triceratops. They said it had one horn. The Ungubu, which had a frill around its neck. Okay. I know we're over the time, but I've just seen the blood-sucking fire brigades. Unless you want to talk about that on Sunday.
What's it about on Sunday?
The blood-sucking fire brigades.
Hello, my name is Bloodsucking. I'm from Fire Brigade.
My name is Vlad. Would you like to see my horse?
I'd like to impale her.
Yeah. So, well, everybody has buggered off, but for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, yay! Thank you for watching.
towel.
Thank you for watching and staying with us. And yeah, sorry I've been off for a couple of weeks, but shit happens. We will be back on Sunday with the rearview mirror, which is myself and Taylor again, and we'll do another top 10 list. And then next Friday, the Dark Mirror radio show will return to its normal format with myself and Mr. Wayne. And I think we are talking about the Illuminati. I'm sure we are.
Illuminati.
Illuminati. So
my name is Illuminati, me.
So join us at what time are we going to be on Sunday, Taylor?
8.
Is that going to be our normal time every Sunday?
Probably.
It is? Okay, good. 8 p.m. on Sunday with the Rearview Mirror Show, and of course next Friday with the Dark Mirror Show with myself and Wayne at 9 p.m. So thank you for watching and listening to our name drivel, and I will see you on Sunday. Say goodbye, Taylor.
Goodbye, Taylor.
I knew you were going to do that. Bye-bye, everybody.